live or no?
Or
no?
yeah.
Are we live or no? Or no? We live. Oh, well, hello there. I was trying to tag you guys in, but it looks like y'all is here, or y'all on the way. So, welcome to Love and Entrepreneurship.
What's up, family? We are back for another episode of Love and Entrepreneurship. I am Chris Woods.
And I'm Ty Woods, and we're your business coaches for today. We are going to continue on the topic of the entrepreneurial mindset. So if you tuned in last week, we talked about how the mindset can be such a powerful tool. Whether it's positive or negative, those thoughts will get the best of you. Now today, we have some questions from our viewers, and we're going to share those questions and answer those questions today. And I hope that you are tuning in with attentive ears, because these questions are some of the most common questions that people ask us. So hopefully you guys get something out of today's topic.
Yep, so on last week, if you tuned in, we also talked about actually moving from the left side of the quadrant over to the right side. And so, Ty, what does that really mean?
Well, when we talked about the entrepreneurial mindset, one of the examples that we gave was the Robert Kiyosaki's book, Cash Flow Quadrant. On the cash flow quadrant, we had two sides of the quadrant. We had the left side of the quadrant, which was for employees and self-employed people. We have little to no leverage and little to no financial freedom from an employee to self-employed. And then there's the other side of the quadrant, which is where we live and where we want you to live, and that's the B and the I. The B is for business owners, the I is for investors. And when you are a B, a business owner, that means your business is what generates your income, and you don't necessarily have to work there. So take McDonald's, for example. Have you ever been at McDonald's and then you saw the owner at McDonald's taking your order in the drive-thru?
No.
Also getting your burgers flipped? No. The owner of McDonald's just simply is that, the owner, and not the employee. So a part of being a business owner is developing a system that other people can work without you. That's the power behind a business owner. As an investor, that's when you get money to work for you. So as an example, we use money to buy real estate. And real estate is what we use to leverage, what we use as leverage for income. So when you are an investor, your money makes money for you. So that's the right side of the quadrant. If you want more information about last week's episode, go down into our videos, go to last week, and watch the video. We talk a little bit more in depth about the cash flow quadrant and what side you should live on.
Yeah.
But today, we're going to answer your questions. So the first question is...
All right, so question number one is, I have been thinking about starting a business, but not sure the steps or even know what the business to start. Where do I start?
Where do you start? So the question is, I have a business idea, don't necessarily know where to start,
or
but
what even should be the business?
What should be the business? So you don't have a business idea.
They have the idea, but...
They have an idea, but they don't have a business.
Right.
Okay. So if you have an idea, but you don't have a business format set up, the first thing I say is do your research, do your homework. Find out other businesses that are doing something similar to what you are doing, and then look at the system that they have in place. Because remember, I told you that on the left side of the quadrant, you have employees and self-employed. Self-employed is the person who owns their own job.
Yeah.
On the right side of the quadrant, you have business owners and investors. So if you are creating a business from scratch, yes, of course, you're going to maybe start off individual, but as you develop the system, you'll be able to hire people, and the people that you hire can work your system. Then you can be able to step away from your business and still have income generated. So first of all, you need to go and do your homework and find out which businesses are doing something similar to what you're doing, and what systems are they using, what financial systems, marketing systems, products, services, and then put together a business plan.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is a good segue. I actually wrote a book. It's called Creating Multiple Streams of Income. It's the compact guide to creating multiple streams of income. And in the first part of the book, I actually talk about how to take your ideas and your talents, things that you are naturally gifted at, and create those into a business. So a lot of times we have these ideas or things that we can do better than other people. Those things can possibly generate revenue for you. So the first thing I would tell you, if you're trying to start a business, create a list of things that you are talented at, things that you do that other people would pay you for that only you can do. For example, years ago, and I put this in the book, I played tennis, and I played tennis rather well in high school, and then actually played a lot in college. And so a lot of people want to get fit. They want to actually learn how to play tennis. And because I knew how to play tennis, I actually had to know how to be able to train someone else in how to play tennis. To the point that I got put an ad up on Craigslist, and guess what happened? I started getting people, and I charged them $25 an hour. So that one person that I started off with, then they began to tell other people, and other people began to reply to the ad, to the point that I created a business out of something that I was naturally good at or put the work into to develop.
So that was owning your own job.
Yep.
So even though it wasn't a system that he created, he still created a job where he had pretty much independence of his time and independence on how much money he can make.
Right. So if I continue,
so it's nothing wrong really with being self-employed if that's the life you want to live. Honestly, when you start off in business, most likely you will start off as self-employed.
Yep.
Most likely, unless you are purchasing a franchise or an existing business, most likely you are going to start off as self-employed and then work yourself over to becoming a business owner.
Right. Because you have to develop enough client base in order to generate the need to be able to add an employee, to be able to pay that employee.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So that was a good question. Next question. How do I know when I need to hire an employee, and what do I look for in an employee? That's a really good question. It's a really great segue into this next. That was a really great segue into. So how do you know? Well, he just answered it. When your client base becomes too large for you to handle personally, then you will consider hiring an employee with a similar skill set. But if you want to maximize your dollars, what I've done is hired maybe a college student, an intern, or an entry-level professional.
I like that.
So that you can be able to pay them a little bit less than what you would normally pay someone like you, and still have some hands on deck. So for example, when I had my campus tax business, it started off with just me. When I was doing taxes for people, I remember when I first started the business, it was just a couple of maybe 10, 12 clients at a time. And of course I can handle that. But as the business started evolving as I started evolving into a business, my clientele started growing by the dozens. And there was no way that I could offer quality service with the number of taxes that I had to do.
Yeah.
So I had to bring on a team of professionals. But I hired college students who were taking degrees for accounting. And they were able to help me at least get the beginning part of the business set up the system.
Yeah.
I had to create a system so that they can follow the same system that I used in order to ensure that the returns are accurate. And then at the end of the return, I will just verify to make sure that the return was correct. So that business ended up growing into a pretty large business, and it was really successful for me. I no longer do that business. I sold it in 2013. But when I started this new venture with Opportunity Knox, we started with Opportunity Knox, what we did was the same system that we did in the beginning. Is that we started off teaching the classes ourselves.
Yeah.
And then when we started getting more and more students, more than what we can handle, then we brought on another instructor. And then we brought on another instructor. Until the point where we had more students and more tuition payments than what we could accommodate for the instructor, and then we opened up another location. So when you open up another location, you make that deciding factor when you have maximized the current location that you're in, and your capacity for employees is also maximized.
Right, because what you don't want to do, and I see quite a few
startup
entrepreneurs do, is they have this great idea, and then they begin to hire employees. Maybe someone gave them a certain amount of dollars. Maybe they raised a certain amount of dollars for their actual business. And so what they do is they earmark a certain amount for staffing. Now, they haven't sold anything, they haven't produced any services, but they begin to hire these employees based on potential revenue earned. But what happens, unfortunately, is now they're paying out all this money to employees, and they're creating the business where it's going to collapse. And it happens so much. We always tell investors, if you are going after capital, especially if you're going after capital from a VC, which is venture capital, or from an angel investor, do not immediately start hiring people until you start it. Well, back up. Don't start going after VC funding right away. Don't even start going after angel investor funding. Why not?
Because number one, you don't need to give up a percentage of your business this early. It's just not necessary.
Because right now you're just an idea. You're just creating the system.
Build the system to the point where you have proven the concept, added some revenue, and said now at this point additional funding will cause the business to grow. If you start growing the business too fast, collapse.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point. So when you're mapping out, you talked about the business plan. In your business plan, there should be a roadmap on how much revenue need to be generated in order for you to bring on your first employee, your second employee. What are some other positions that you need in order for your business to be successful? But many times people add those positions before the actual need is there.
Right.
When you starting off, guess what? You are everything. You are the cook. You are the janitor.
The candlestick maker, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker.
And that's fine in the beginning. Why? Because you're working the system. You're creating and developing the system. Because what you don't want is someone to come in believing in your vision and in your business idea. And guess what? You haven't worked out the system. They're going to be frustrated. They're going to feel like you just going, this is a fly-by-night type thing.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And so we are here to help you not make the same mistakes that a lot of entrepreneurs make. And we didn't necessarily make that mistake because we did our homework. And I even have a family member that was in business and ended up closing their business after less than 5 years. And actually, the Small Business Administration statistics say that more than 70% of businesses will fail within the first 5 years. And I'm pleased to acknowledge that we are in our 11th year in business. So we are definitely killing it, according to statistics.
So we know a little something.
We know a little something, okay? Now, what's the next question?
Next question is, and I'm gonna move it around just because the topic what we just said. It says, what if I fail?
What if you fail?
That's the question. What if I fail?
What if you fail? If you fail at starting a business, at least you succeeded at starting a business.
Ooh, that's so good. Say that one more again.
If you fail at starting a business, at least you succeeded at starting a business.
I like that.
Because you will always fail what you never start at. Of course, you're going to make mistakes along the way, but we don't believe in failures. We believe in lessons.
Yep.
So we say you took a big L,
Right.
but it's not a loss, it's a lesson.
It's a lesson learned.
So just remember that every time you fail, that's something that you learned and you would never do again.
Well, hopefully you learned it and you begin to take notes and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that next time.
I'm going to share with you one of my biggest mistakes in business.
What's that?
Not having a contract signed with independent contractors. That was early on in the business. So when it was time for deliverables to be made, and I had this expectation of what they were supposed to deliver, mm-hmm. and I didn't have a signed agreement, yet I paid them for it. Well, now you're dealing with something that you don't have any proof of what you said that they were going to do, or what they said they were going to deliver, and now you have no way to execute it. So now, today, I have an independent contract for every single independent contractor in our company, and even if you're doing just a gig for me, it's still a contract in place. Because number one, you need to know what we're expecting, but number two, you should know what you are delivering to us. That way you can keep it 100 with us.
Keep it 100. I like that.
Keep it 100.
So if you fail, it's all right. It's okay. Get back up and start again. Do it again. Mm-hmm. Many successful people started out with great ideas and failed. Who are some of those people?
Walt Disney. We've all seen the movies and the Mickey Mouse and been to the parks. Mm-hmm. But guess what? Mickey Mouse was not his first idea, or second, or third, or fourth. So,
Thomas Edison.
Yep. The Wright brothers.
Yep. Eventually,
they got it right.
Yeah.
Woo! We're able to go where we want to go now because of them, and I can tell you now that if you think that the first time out the gate when you start this business that you're not going to make any mistakes, even with a mentor, even with an advisor, you are still going to make mistakes because you're new at this. And with anything new, you're going to have some hurdles to go over. There are learning barriers that you have to go over. So just remember, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah,
take it easy.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Disappointment will come.
Yeah.
But you got to overcome those disappointments and keep moving forward.
That's the mantra of our lives.
It really is.
Keep moving forward. Because I can tell you right now, if I would have quit every time things got hard with our business.
Because things will get hard.
And things did get hard. I mean, I remember earlier on, like maybe year 1, year 2, we had to both take up second jobs.
What?
Yes.
You was working?
I was working.
Wow.
I was working in retail at that with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. But I had to do what I had to do in order to make sure that my dream becomes true. And so I worked, and also he worked a non-desirable job until we were able to develop the type of revenue that we needed to live a comfortable and safe life.
Yeah. So here's the next question. How do I know people need what I'm selling?
Well, how do you know? Well,
how do I know
if I'm really selling? How will I know when they want to start buying? How will I know when there is a demand for your product or service? You will know. You will know through your test phase. before you
good.
start a
That's
business,
good.
before you completely launch a business, if you haven't done customer discovery, you are already behind the 8 ball.
Discovery.
Customer discovery is when you go and you take a small sliver of your business to a small group of people.
And it could be your family members, your friends, but you got to get people that are non-biased.
Right. Because your mama's going to tell you,
mama.
baby, it was a good idea.
Don't
You've seen American Idol.
You're right.
You've seen American Idol during audition week. And they were like,
my baby sure can sing.
I'm here to audition. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. And I've been singing my whole life.
My baby been singing her whole life.
My mother, she was my biggest fan. Okay, here it is. I believe in you and me.
Next.
I have a cold. I have a cold, but I am really good. I believe in you and me.
Next.
I believe
that's a no for me. That's a no for me.
In love eternally.
That's a no for me. It's a no. Sorry. Someone lied to you.
Mom, they said no, I can't go to Hollywood.
You're not going to Hollywood.
That's okay, baby. You're still my American Idol.
Good. Just let mama be your American Idol. Your mother is going to be the biggest cheerleader. So, indeed, you might not want to seek out mama.
No.
Now you want to seek my...
Mom will tell you it's a great idea.
Yeah.
But it was horrible.
Get that cousin who's always going to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Or that best friend who has always kept it 100 with you and not going to sugarcoat. Go to that person for customer discovery. Or you might even find a couple of people on Facebook.
Yep.
And just say, hey, can I send you a couple products? Can I send you some free samples of what I have? And you just give me honest,
write a review.
Honest feedback.
Oh,
it's free. Honest feedback. And there are actually websites that will do customer discovery for you. Yeah. All the customer have to do is pay for shipping, and they will actually ship your product to customers just so that you can be able to get feedback. And many customer discovery companies will actually post your product on Amazon, and then you can get customer discovery feedback through your Amazon page. Wow. And that's amazing because reviews can make or break a company on Amazon. Yeah. So if you have a good product, then go ahead and send it to one of those. I'm not going to give any names of it, but just Google customer discovery companies where you can send your products for free, and they have a customer base who all they do is test products. That's all they do. And I've done it. I've tested products before. And we don't get paid. You don't get paid for it. You just get the free product. Right. And we have to give honest customer feedback. And what we have to say we received this product for free in exchange for our feedback. I remember having to put that disclaimer there because we definitely didn't buy it as an honest customer. Well, I should say as a legitimate customer. Right, yeah. But we are giving legitimate feedback. Yeah. So that's a really good way to get some customers' feedback without having that bias included in there from friends and family. Because, they will try to support you. And so they may tell you that it was a good idea or tell you that was a good product, but it really wasn't. If you want, you can always send it to me. I don't care. I'll tell you. If it's bad, I'll tell you with love. Baby, that's not good.
And on the flip side, friends and family, please support your entrepreneurs. Buy their products. Don't look for the hookup.
Why don't you give me a discount? Well, no. This is a business. Okay? This is a business. So stop giving discounts. Can we talk about discounts?
Actually, we can't.
Can we talk about discounts?
Make or break your business.
Oh my gosh, this mistake I made last year. So let me tell you. Let me tell you about discounts.
My heart broke.
Let me tell you about
the story.
So I'm gonna tell the story without crying. I'm trying to tell the story without crying. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So in an effort to try to,
I might start crying. Go ahead.
In an effort to try to drive enrollment at one of our schools, we significantly lowered the price of our service.
We significantly lowered it.
I significantly lowered the price of our service, but I didn't put a cap on the number of discounted rates that we would give out.
Product service, right.
Right. So, as a result, there was way too many people receiving this discount and not too many people paying regular price.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, when we got maybe 10, 12 weeks in, I started noticing cash flow issues.
I said,
and I was like, what's going on?
I said, well, you got to do these numbers. Something ain't right.
I did the numbers, and I'm tallying it up, and I'm like, whoa.
The amount of revenue that was missed.
That we discounted. The amount of revenue that I discounted as a result of not putting a cap on the number of discounts I gave out.
Yeah.
Drum roll, please. $66,000.
Okay, this is where the tears go.
$66,000 could have got me I don't know,
but
something.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Okay.
So what happened? What did I do wrong? Because I'm never going to do that again. What did I do wrong? I didn't do the math.
Right.
So
that's good.
What I should have done is I should have calculated how much the revenue was going to be overall as a regular rate, right?
Right.
And then use a percentage of the profit, a percentage of that profit to, like, for example, if it was going to be, let's say it was going to be $30,000 profit, I could say, let me take $10,000 of that profit to allocate towards scholarships or discounts.
Yeah.
Now that $10,000 can be allocated across an entire year, or it could be allocated across a certain period of time. But what I should have done was I should have taken that percentage and said, after we allocate this amount, discounts are over. The sale is over. The promotion is over. We are full. So we have a certain number, and what we could have done is divided that by the number of students to determine how many of those discounts we were going to give out. But we did not do that. So that's how we ended up losing so much money as a result of this.
Right, because you can take that overall. You can take that overall amount of potential incomes earned, and then use that and say, okay, with this amount, I'm using it as a marketing dollars, and then put it.
So that would have been a marketing expense.
Correct.
It wouldn't have been. It's not that it would have been just lost money. It would have just been moved from profits to marketing, which is actually an expensive item, so I can write that off.
Right.
But I learned my lesson, and that's never going to happen again.
You finished crying?
Oh, finished crying.
All right, so the last question of the night, it says, what do I do if I have been working my business for a few years now and I have not seen any growth?
Ooh.
I have had.
You've been working your business for a few years, and you have not seen any growth.
It says I have some sales and made some money, but I feel like it's moving too slow.
So, at what point do you just say, yeah, this is not going to work out? Well, two things.
There's two sides to this coin.
There are two sides to this coin. I'm just going to say one side. Okay. At a certain point in your entrepreneurial journey, you are going to have to make a decision. The decision is whether or not the current business model that you're using, whether that's working and you have to switch the business model, or whether or not you just need to stop
Take your
altogether.
losses, yeah.
Okay? Take your losses and just go. Now, how do you determine if it's a business model structure issue or if it's just a bad idea issue and just maybe a couple of people supported it in the beginning just to try to help you out? Well, it's easy. You have to know what the supply and demand is for that product, for that service. And if your demographic is going to be able to support that.
Right. For example, is your price for product too high?
Right.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the restructuring side.
Right.
So if you have a business model flaw, then first thing we do is we look at demographics.
Mm-hmm.
Are you selling to the right customer?
Right.
Is your customer single moms? Is your customer kid, to parents? Is your customer
in the right
men?
region?
Is your customer and where they live? Where do they live?
Yeah.
Do they live in the inner city? Do they live in the suburbs? Do they live in rural? Do they live in sunny states? Because if you're selling sunglasses, maybe Wisconsin is not the best place to start. Okay? So it's something that you want to consider when you are deciding whether you're going to quit your business, or maybe it's just a business model flaw and you just need to adjust some things. Is your price too high for the demographic that you're serving?
Right.
Or is it too low? I remember one time we had a client, a partner actually, a business partner that we were doing programs with. And our price was so low and this community is a very wealthy community. This is the community where celebrities live, where the ultra rich live. And so we came in, we said, oh yes, our program is going to be $149. He looked at us and said,
You need to raise that price.
That is too cheap.
They're gonna think
They're gonna think it's trash, and they're not gonna buy it.
Yeah, it doesn't have any value if you price it too low.
And so I said, well, $250? He was like,
come on up.
Too low, too low. And I'm sitting here like, I've never sold this product for more than $250. They're not going to buy it. They're not going to buy it. It stretched me. It stretched me. But I never been in this demographic either. I've always been in a lower to middle class income area. So that 150 range was pretty consistent with what we were charging for what the area that we were in. Except now that we're in a new area, in an area we've never been to before, we didn't know the economics and the marketing strategies that they use to sell there. So actually, if your product is too cheap, that demographic is going to deem it as inexpensive, cheap garbage.
Yep.
And so we ended up selling that product that we sold for $149, $199 in the lower income communities. We ended up selling it for $425. That's triple the price.
Same product.
Same
quality of product.
Yep. Same product, same quality. But because they felt like we needed to increase our price in order to generate the type of revenue that we wanted and the type of buzz that we wanted, we had to increase our price. Guess what?
It sold out.
That was 5 years ago. That is our most successful product to date.
Yep.
The one that's $425 instead of $149. So we learned a lot. I learned a lot. What I learned is the psychographics. Come on, y'all better Google it.
You need to start taking some
Take
notes.
some notes.
Psychographics. Okay.
The psychology.
You better use that MBA.
The psychology behind buying and selling this is what the marketers use. This is what the marketers use. This is why some things that when you go to the store, something is priced $4.99. No, it's $500, boo. But you thought you saw $4.99.
Oh, it's just
$400. No, it was $500. But $4.99 is a tactic that marketers use to get you to pay more. Mm-hmm. Same thing. Yeah. Same thing. So we learned about that demographic, the psychology behind why and how they buy, and we didn't know that. That was something that we had to learn from doing business with that demographic. So now that we know how to do business with that demographic, we are saying know your market, know how to price your product so that you don't undercut yourself or shoot yourself in the foot because it's too high.
Yeah, and on the other side to that, the question was stated that you've been working your business for a few years. What are those few years? Is it just a year, 2 years? You know, sometimes.
And what were you doing? What were you doing the other years? Because like if the first year you were just doing research and you wasn't really generating money, or you just started generating money maybe a few months ago, well then maybe you just need a little bit more time.
How much time have you been putting into it? It's a reason why, if anybody out there, you watch the Shark Tank, there's a reason why they say, do you have a job?
Yep.
Because they want to know how invested in that business are you. Have you been spending enough time to develop that business? Maybe it's still too early to determine whether or not to jump ship on that business.
Yeah, because if you're working a full-time job, there's no way you're putting 100% in this business.
Right.
Even if you're working at this business at nighttime and you're barely getting sleep, the course of the day, you can't do business at nighttime unless you're doing business with another time zone. Like you're in Hong Kong, or you're in California and you're doing business with Hong Kong. Well, yeah, then you can do your business at nighttime. But if you're not doing your business during the day, which is when your customers are awake, then it's really hard for you to decide whether or not this business model is going to work or not. You're going to have to make a decision on whether or not you're going to quit your job. Yeah. Or switch jobs so that you can work at nighttime and work your business during the day. And that's what we did.
Yeah. So
it's not hard.
You got to know whether or not it's time. It could be too early. It could be really too early.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we look at social media and we begin to compare ourselves. We look at other people and we see their level of success in business. But it could be perceived.
Don't go by what you see on social media. There is so much, what's the word? Fakeness?
Fugazi?
Yeah, all of that. All of the above. And you don't know who is real, who's not. You don't know if we're real. We could be fake. Right now, we could be sitting in a homeless shelter with our backdrop. This is the backdrop in the office. And these are the clothes that was left behind by the CEOs of the homeless shelter. And you could be listening to homeless people.
But if homeless people know this much,
then we in the wrong. We should be homeless. Then we're not using our own system, right? I'm just saying, you guys don't know what you're exposing. You don't know what you see. Right. You just think you know.
Right.
They're gonna only show you what they want to show you on social media. So don't compare yourself to other people. Matter of fact, the good book says that if you compare yourself with other people, it is not wise. It's not. Because there's always going to be somebody make more money. Yeah. Who's better, who looks better, who got a better body. Who's just be the best you can be.
Right. So you got to know what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe you started a business and it's a business that you're supposed to be doing. Maybe it's something that you're not supposed to be doing. That's only something that you can determine. But to determine whether or not it's moving too slow, how are you gauging whether or not it's moving too slow? Maybe it's moving at the correct pace and that you can handle it.
Right. Because growing too fast is also a problem.
Yep.
We dealt with that. Yeah. And we had to do a complete corporate restructure. That's another day, another time, another topic.
Yeah, and so that's all the questions that we have for tonight. Tune in next week, and we'll be talking more about love and entrepreneurship. Again, if you have not bought my book, it's only $5.
Come on, guys, $5?
$5.
$5.99? Are you out of your mind? $5. It will be the best investment that you ever make in business by purchasing this book. It's called The Compact Guide to Multiple Streams of Income. The Compact Guide to creating multiple streams of income. And if you don't make money from the contents of this book, then you just didn't try.
Yeah, you're gonna make money.
So he's gonna post a link up for you, and that is it for us. That is all for us tonight. We thank you for sending in your questions. And next week, we're going to get to some juicy stuff. Juicy.
That sounds juicy. Just listening.
Just juicy. All right. Tune in next week for another episode of Love and Entrepreneurship. I am Ty Woods and
I am Chris Woods, and you tuned into Love and Entrepreneurship.
Bye for now.
Talk to you later. Make sure you message us. Make sure you follow us on social media, on Facebook. Make sure you like Love and Entrepreneurship. Go online, type in loveandentrepreneurship.com. Make sure you check us out. All right?
Bye. Bye, guys.